Hi everybody, welcome back to Sharon from Vivid Days. Today's video is all about Jesmonite opaque acrylic polymer stroke mineral resin non-toxic, which is a beautiful casting alternative to resin. Now you have a ratio of 2.5 to 1, which is the powder versus the milk as I call it. I'm measuring out 625 of the powder and I go for 250 ml of the fluid. And that's to give me a consistency of 500 ml. My Neil had to work it out for me so I know what I'm doing each time, because it just blows my head if it's not 1 to 1. Because Jesmonite is so opaque, the colours that you use matters. You can see I am using one specifically for Jesmonite. They are highly concentrated. You can use mica powders, you can use other colours in there. Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner shows you what happens. Now I go rogue here, do not put the amount I'm putting in here. It is very sensitive to the balance of ratio, and if you move that balance too much, your Jesmonite will not cure like it's meant to be. You get a little example of it at the end of this, but it all ended up well. 1 drop at a time and keep adding your pigments is my rule of thumb. Look at this, it looks like a witch's hat. It was made from latex, but oh, it is stunning results. But shout out to all of my members. You are all taking a leap of faith with me and going on this journey, so thank you. And thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. By liking, subscribing, sharing, you are all helping me continue to share content. Now, I've lost count of how much I've put in there. I've put 2 different colours in there, and I even add a little bit of black, hence why I go rogue. Now, tools of the trade, if you put them in water afterwards, they will clear up. There's a little example of naughty Sharon where she left the other one to dry, but it still doesn't impact the blending. Now, safety for Jesmonite is wear gloves because the powder can give you some skin irritation, and wear a dust mask so that you're not breathing in any of those particles. Another tip is to add your powder to your fluid, milk as I call it, whisk it through. Remember that you do have a 5-minute timer from when these blend together before your Jesmonite starts to harden. So it seems like it's very quick, but if you've got everything prepared, you've got plenty of time to mix it in. You want a lovely batter-like consistency, no lumps. I whisk it through and then I come through with a blender for 30 seconds and that just smooths it all out beautifully for me. This is a really great example of how opaque this powder is. The more I'm adding, the lighter the colour is going, and it's getting more to that, I want to say it's got a deep terracotta look to it. It's definitely cooler. I was going to be adding black, so I wanted it to be more of like a light grey, and it's sort of still dried quite light, but the black going through it sort of adds value. It looks like a really dodgy old owl. He's lived a long wise life, and he's a hoot. Anyway, I have a jug of water this side where as I finish using the utensils, I'll dunk it in and out of water to remove any of that excess product that's on there, making it easier the next time you use them. I also have I want to say like a spatula that goes around the edge and scoops it around. And this 30-second blast that I do with this blender, I think just removes any of those clumps that you'll get. We're just looking for that smooth batter-like consistency. When I actually started pouring this into the Latex Owl, because it was latex and it's a weird shape, I realised that I couldn't hold it in my hand. The latex stretched a little bit, but not too much. But the volume I'd measured out in water, which was 500, it actually didn't work that way. I needed to add another, I think it was 150 ml. So it does have a different consistency, obviously, to water and resin. And here's me over committing to the black as well. I should have only put 1 or 2 drops in there, but I was trying to get some kind of weird marble effect, but I just went rogue again. Anyway, here's what you're going to see. I pour it in by hand, and in theory I thought I should be able to hold it. I mean, it starts to cure in 5 minutes, in 20 minutes it's fully set. But then the problem I ran into is when I realised that the volume I'd created wasn't enough for this mould, how do I get it to stand up while I mix some more and pour it into the top? I'm just squeezing his ears there. I just want to make sure that that Jesmonite gets into all those nooks and crannies. You normally tap it, vibrate it, shake it, but because I knew that there was little details in there, I wanted to prevent as many holes as possible. and you're going to see me just fill it up to the top, struggle with how to hold it. I then put it inside a plastic cup which holds it straight. I then mix up some more Jesmonite to get to the end. You blow on top of it and it removes any bubbles. You don't apply heat in any way, shape or form, like a torch or a heat gun. Just your breath is enough for you to remove any surface bubbles. But I'm going to put a bit of Sharon's Dodgy FM until we get to the next stage for you. So here we are, ready for demolding. You get to see how squidgy, is that even a word? It was, where I'd overcommitted. So basically when I pull it away, I start to think, oh dear, has it fully set or cured? And then I realised, yes, it has, but the excess pigment is what's at the edge and making it a little bit gunky. Now, that devalued some of the mould because I never got the defined detail in there all the way through. However, I think it's given character to this little cute old wise mould. I will go back and revisit it with Jesmonite when I don't overcommit with pigments. Don't worry, no owl was harmed in the course of making this, and it does dry off once it's released from that mould. And I leave it overnight. It's very fragile at this stage, so you're delicately trying to demold it, and I end up getting all the pigment all over my hand. It's just slightly off camera there where I'm just trying to balance a little bit of force without breaking it, and I feel like I'm on top of it now. I'm getting it all over my hands. It's like I'm giving birth to this owl, isn't it? Anyway, I take the mould away more or less straight away and give it a clean down and remove all the excess, because there was a lot of excess pigment on there, so that I can safely reuse that. But it's the first time I really got to see the amazing detail that comes in this mould. So you have a window of 24 hours where this is still curing. So I'm standing it on the cure so that the heat can continue to come out of the cast while it dries and fully cures. Oh, there it is, a nice cleaner mould. Anyway, the reason you put it on that is so that you don't get any sweat stains. Now, I would use it on a cooling wrap, but I just can't find where I've had it. I filed it somewhere. Anyway, this is the excess that I'm making into shards for myself, and because it's only just cured, it's very brittle, and this is the time you break it up. It's very, very therapeutic to do this, and you can use this within your Jesmonite itself or future ones, or you could use it within any kind of casting or resin just to create some different kind of effects. But there is no wastage with Jesmonite. You've got all kind of purposes that you can redo it, but if you weren't to do it while it was fragile and brittle, it'd be very hard for you to snap. So immediately after I've demolded, you have also that window of opportunity to sand away or file away any bits that you didn't like on your owl. So you could smooth the edges where it's slightly imperfect, where I had too much pigment in there, and you can, you've got time to adjust. Now I wanted this to look like an old weathered owl anyway, so it's worked out in my favour, but I am going to leave it overnight, and then I'll come back next day and I will add some embellishments. I want to bring out the eyes, the beak, and maybe some of the detail on the feather. That's most likely because I want to try and rescue the dodgy mould that I did, but it actually works out quite cute. And I come and I add a little bit of glitter, and I use my gold pen and I use a black marker. That's a personal choice. You can embellish your sculptures however you want to do it. This was going on my windowsill. It was my prototype and I really enjoyed it. So I will put Sharon's Dodgy FM on for you to play out this video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this process. I hope it's given you some creative ideas of what you can do. And yeah, if you've used this mold before, let me know. Let me know what you think to this dodgy old owl. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you on the next video. Much love. Keep safe, keep creating, and remember to have a hoot.